To the Latinos that voted for him, you will never, and I repeat, never be white. You will never be accepted as one of them.
Latinos in the United States have not earned the support of black people for us to be demanding, oh yeah, why aren't they coming out to protest with us?
They did it because they hate black people and they think that they are white. They think that they've bought into whiteness. They're very delusional.
Every time I'm reminded of how Asian people and Latino people voted during the 2024 election, it makes me want to...
Am I the only one that didn't know that apparently Latinos were like begging black people for support and help now that Donald Trump is trying to deport?
Now, ain't it funny how the same folks who said Trump 2024 are suddenly crying out for solidarity from the very people they disrespected? I keep telling y'all, proximity to whiteness ain't protection. It's illusion. See, when that deportation bus starts rolling, it doesn't stop to check your accent, your GPA, or how many back the blue stickers you got on your car. It just checks one thing, how brown your skin is. And now, some Latinos and Asians who thought they could sit at the table of white power are realizing they were never invited, they were just the help. Under Trump's return to power politics, ICE raids, racial profiling, and deportations, SAUs, have ramped up. And guess who's catching the heat? Not the folks who built the system, but the ones who thought aligning with it would save them. We've learned that lesson the hard way. Let's see what some folks are saying.
Latinos in the United States have not earned the support of black people for us to be demanding, oh yeah, why aren't they coming out to protest with us? Why aren't they engaging in activism with us? Because we haven't earned it at all, in the slightest. Or did you guys forget that 46% of all eligible Latino voters voted for Donald Trump in the 2024 presidential election? Or how about the fact that racism, anti-Blackness, colorism, all of these things are still very much pervasive in our communities? Bro, Latinos haven't even reconciled with the fact that they can't use the N-word unless they're also black themselves, because Afro-Latinos exist. Oh, and if we're talking about Miami, oof, you'll see the whitest MAGA Latinos be like, bro, but I grew up in the hood. I grew up around black people. In Overtown or in Liberty City, I could say it, bro. No one's going to stop me from saying it. It's my right. I'm not racist. I have a black friend. We haven't even gotten over that. And we want black people to go to protest with us, to engage in activism with us, putting their lives, their freedom, their bodies on the line? No, I completely understand any black person that wants to just disengage, disregard us. I get it, guys. I really, really do. And we as Latinos, as a collective, should not be harboring resentment against black people, criticizing them, getting angry at them, questioning them. No, because we've earned this. They are completely justified in feeling the way they feel and doing what they're doing. Now, I would like to give a message to the black folks watching this video. You are completely justified in your feelings and in doing what you're doing, and I respect it. But please remember that black folks are also being affected by this persecution of undocumented migrants. And I feel like that's not talked about enough either. Here, Miami, Florida is the best example. Haitians, Jamaicans, Bahamians, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Hondurans, Garifunas, black people from all over Latin America and all over the world, Africans, just so many black people that are also undocumented that are really being affected by the persecution of this administration. And of course, much like any other entity in space, black folks in immigration detention centers, in the immigration system, are treated worse than their white, Latino, Asian counterparts. So it's really important to acknowledge that and just let you guys know. But yeah, Latinos, we need to tighten up. If you guys want the support of the black community, then earn it. Demonstrate that we can solve these issues of racism in our own communities, and please stop saying the N-word. If you're not black, don't say the N-word. It's really simple, actually.
Every time I'm reminded of how Asian people and Latino people voted during the 2024 election, it makes me want to... Why the fuck did you guys do that? What the fuck?
They did it because they hate black people and they think that they are white. They think that they've bought into whiteness. They're very delusional. And it's unfortunate to see people that you can see are clearly ethnic and not white think that they are white. Latinos that are white, like this, that have this color skin, think that white people consider them white and don't consider them like Spanish and immigrants. You know what I mean? And they think that we are jealous of them. And they do shit to undermine us. Asian people think that we are literally retarded and think that we are just animalistic and have no self-control, and that's why our lives look the way they do. They don't seem to understand that we have been systematically maligned, and now the same is happening to them. You understand? And they want us to speak out and speak up. Do y'all remember just a few months ago, all the Latinos saying, we stood by your black monkey asses? Why won't y'all march for us? No. What are you talking about? These are the same people that will get you fired from your fucking job. This is their culture. It's so much so that it's been in the news, it's been documented. You speak out against it, they say that you're phobic and anti. But it's like, but y'all's culture is literally anti-black. And when we speak on it, all of a sudden there's all this interrogation and we're playing the race card and we just need to pick ourselves up by our bootstraps. We're lazy with it. That's your culture. That's what you think about black people. That's why you go out of your way to lighten your race, thinking that that's going to get you closer to whitey. It will never do that. They hate you. I would argue that they hate you more than they hate us, because y'all think you're like them and it's disgusting and repulsive to them. And they hate you so much that they'll smile in your face and deceive you into voting in their interest so that they can violate you in ways that we haven't even experienced in recent history. I think it's time to stop asking the question and acting like you don't know when the answer is right there. It's anti-Blackness. And until people start to actually accept the fact that, yes, people hate black people that much that they will destroy a country, until you accept that fact that you vote to put people back into chains. That's what you thought was going to happen. You thought Trump was going to come, enslave us, and everybody was going to benefit off of that black enslavement. That's what you thought. You thought all the blacks were going to go to jail and be doing labor for you. It doesn't work that way, my love. That will never happen again. That will never happen again. That will never happen again. There are other people that they can enslave. There are other people that they can abuse now. And we've already been existing as second-class citizens this whole time. There's no way we can buy into whiteness, because the dichotomy of this country, the way it's set up, is always going to be black and white. It will forever be that. There will be no reconciliation, you guys, in the America experiment. You got to let that go. The most we can come to is a peaceful agreement, a real treaty, and say, you go over there, I'll go over here, and we will never acknowledge this history of racism. That's the solution. But until all you non-blacks and non-whites get the picture that you're not even part of this conversation, and you better get in on our team, because that other team don't even see you as human, they see you as fools. Okay? The same way they think the Uncle Toms and stuff are fools too, the blacks that go over to that side. They'll smile in your face, but they'll make you go against your own people every single time. Until y'all stop asking these asinine questions and really admit that it's anti-blackness. That if the world was not anti-black, this, like, a lot of this stuff would not be happening. That it's socially acceptable to be anti-black. That it's okay, as long as you're not outwardly violent, to dislike black people for no reason. Until y'all accept that fact and reconcile with your own internalized racism. And everybody is racist that's not black. And black people have their own biases. Everybody does. But until you acknowledge that fact and really work to deconstruct that and see everybody as a human being, even people that you dislike, you'll forever be confused. And this is no shade to my girl. I'm sure she knows, and I love her content.
That's right. Now there's a call for unity. Suddenly, after voting against black progress, after mocking BLM and talking that all lives matter nonsense, now it's, we need to come together. But unity without accountability is manipulation. Now this is where it gets interesting. See, when some of y'all were saying the N-word like a nickname and treating Afro-Latinos like they didn't belong, black folks were watching. We heard the silence when we were fighting police brutality. We saw the mockery of our pain. So don't act shocked that now, when deportation knocks on your door, we ain't rushing to answer it for you. Let's get historical for a second. From the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 to Japanese internment camps, America has always used one minority against another, then discarded them when the utility expired. They weaponize proximity, give you a slice of almost white status, and when the empire's done, they turn that same machinery of hate on you. Black people been the test subjects for this oppression experiment since 1619. So forgive us if we're not eager to enroll again. She said it plain, you will never be white. And that right there is the truth bomb so many don't want to swallow. You can dye your hair, anglicize your name, date outside your race, but you can't out-whiten white supremacy. It don't accept applications. Because at the end of the day, all this panic, all this pain, it's the boomerang of anti-Blackness coming home. You threw it out when you thought siding with whiteness would protect you. Now it's coming back spinning fast and cutting deep. Let's be real.
To the Latinos that voted for him, you will never, and I repeat, never be white. You will never be accepted as one of them, and you certainly are not exempt from the racism that is this racist ass regime. When that lady put in her post, alligators' lives matter, and she mentioned a number, that number being 65 million. Do you know how many Latinos are in the United States? Approximately 65 million, according to the US Census Bureau. Approximately 60 plus million people. So guess what? They weren't just talking about the illegal immigrants, because data actually says that there are 10 to about 12 illegal, undocumented folks in the United States. They're talking about you. They're talking about people like us, because we are not exempt from the racism that is rooted in what these people believe in, and frankly, the foundation of this country that was built on the stealing of land from indigenous people by immigrants that came here from Europe. But when you think that you are better than an immigrant because your family came here the right way, remember that this land was actually stolen from day one. So when you think that you are better because you're second generation or third generation because you've been an American for a longer amount of time, I hope that you never have to experience a time where you have to flee a country for your own safety or that of your family. So when you think that you are somehow not going to be affected by any of this, when you think that you don't have to care, what happens if you are next? What happens if it's someone that you personally know? And I know already, because we've seen it. We've seen the clips of people that supported him, diehard supporters that are now crying on the news because their family members are getting deported and they thought that they would never be impacted. You see, in this country, so many people lack empathy. They are unwilling or somehow unable to think beyond themselves, and then we run into these situations. Wake up. The proximity to whiteness isn't serving you, and it's not serving the community. You have to recognize what is happening, because ultimately they're not just going after criminals. And all of this is connected to so many things that impact our community and frankly are holding us back, like anti-Blackness and colorism and internalized racism. And if you think that these are woke words, look them up and you will realize what exists, what has existed in our community for a very long time. And I say all of this because there are so many people that have fallen to the false prophets of the world, and I need us as a community to come together and wake up. So if you're wanting more of this type of content, follow for more, because we need to have this conversation.
If you think about it, it all makes sense. The biggest target in immigration are Asian people. Ever since the Hyundai raid, I am expecting a lot of foreign companies, especially South Korea, to pull out the United States within the next 3 months. For those who don't know, the Supreme Court has passed a bill that allows ICE and other U.S. American citizens, aka white supremacists, to discriminate and racially profile anyone who doesn't look like an American citizen. Then again, what does an American citizen look like? Because from what I know, United States is one of the most diverse countries in the world. Then it hit me. There was a very clear line when it comes to discrimination. They aren't talking about black people or Native Americans, because we've been here long enough to where they know they cannot remove us in any way, shape, and form. We've been here from start to finish. Additionally, black people makes up $500 billion a year to the economy. Our spending power is so incredibly vital that for them to remove us would be catastrophic to the American economy. So that rolls out Native Americans and black people. They are talking about is the early waves of immigration from Latin, Asian, and Middle Eastern countries. This started with the Chinese in 1848. During this time, there was allowing immigration within the United States, but there was a catch. It didn't specify who was allowed to come into the United States. They was hoping more Europeans than anything else to migrate to the United States. Italians, Spaniards, French, Englishmen. These are the type of immigrants they were hoping for, but they didn't just receive them. They received the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Korean. American leaders didn't like this at all. They wanted to get rid of the Chinese immigrants, and by 1882, they succeeded in doing that. Peep game real quick. In 1882, 1892, this was the time period where both Koreans and Japanese people arrived to the United States. It wasn't just Chinese exclusive. No, they were aiming for both Koreans and Japanese people. One of the few people, if not the only person that has spoken out against this, was Frederick Douglass about the Chinese Exclusion Act. This is the first law ban that prevents any ethnicity, more specifically targeting to Asian people, doesn't allow them to buy any type of property, and prevents more immigration coming to the United States. This wasn't lifted until 1943. Besides the civil rights movement that comes much later that opens all immigration, the main reason why America opened their immigration to Chinese people is not because they just changed their mind and like Chinese people. It is because in World War II, China was a US ally, and the United States wanted to make themselves look less racist because it puts them on a world stage. That happened in 1943. They was going to revert that until the civil rights happened. There wasn't a single point in history where America actually liked Asian people. Never. It just got a little bit smarter and decided to weaponize you against black people instead, while silently oppressing you and keeping you silent and at bay. Because since 1848, their goal was to get rid of all Asian people, and that still hasn't changed. I'll get it now. Everybody else up until this point was nothing but a warm-up. The real target has always been Asian people. Always. Besides any other immigrant, Asian people are the biggest threat to jobs, political, and social economic power. And after that Hyundai raid in Georgia, that pretty much proves my case. I'm gone.
So there was a shooting at the ICE facility in Dallas, Texas, and on the shooter's ammunition it said anti-ICE, but he only shot at the detainees. He only shot detainees. If you're anti-ICE, wouldn't your target be the ICE agents? And before y'all come for me, I am not saying that I wish it was the agents that got shot. I'm not saying that. Use your noggin. I'm just trying to pull the pieces together. If he was anti-ICE, why were only detainees shot at? And I do not like to call them detainees because they were kidnapped, they were there against their will, and they were probably not even criminals, okay? Because a high percentage of people that these ICE agents are kidnapping are not criminals, okay? And then Kristi Noem, with her plank from Ed, Edd n Eddy looking ass, holds a conference and makes it all about the ICE agents, pobrecitos. Makes it all about the poor ICE agents. They're getting all this hate. They were the target. All the while disrespecting and ignoring the fact that human beings were actually shot at. Some were unalived. I believe it's one or two. There's conflicting information. I don't know if it was one or two. These same people last week were outraged. No one should be shot. No one deserves to be shot, no matter who they are. What happened to all that? Do these people's lives not matter because they're brown? Where's your outrage now? Why are you making it all about the ICE agents when not even one of them were shot at or shot? I don't know. All this seems really iffy to me. First, kidnapping just random brown people off the streets. Then we got ICE agents shooting at these people because they're not letting themselves get kidnapped. Then we had an ICE agent actually unalive a person. And now we have some random shooter shooting at detainees. What the hell is going on? Boy, I really wish y'all's little rapture thing would have happened today, because it would have been done and over with by today. By tomorrow, we wouldn't have all these issues. I wish y'all would have had your rapture. That way we wouldn't be dealing with all this BS and y'all's BS and you. But like again, y'all are still here. We still gotta deal with your ass. I wish this was the one time y'all would have been right about that rapture, boy.
So we're all on the same page. Hate speech, xenophobia, and racism are not political opinions. And I think we need to be a lot more intentional about our language when we talk about people and groups who espouse these espouse this hate under the guise of it's just politics. When we accept all of this hate speech, racism, xenophobia, misogyny, sexism, when we accept these as political opinions, we are legitimizing these perspectives and saying that it's just a difference, it's just a matter of politics, and that could not be further from the truth. Accepting all of this as political opinion and encouraging people to debate these as political opinions leaves room for what happened on the Tennessee State University campus, where a group wearing MAGA attire and holding signs with inflammatory messages goes to a historically Black university to bait the students into having debates framed around racism and their humanity, their existence. Whether DEI should be illegal or not is not a matter of politics. It's not even a debate point, because our administration has already declared DEI illegal, has already declared it dead. So what is up for debate as it pertains to DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, and representation on an HBCU campus that only exists because African Americans were locked out of colleges and universities in America solely because of their race? So if they wanted to be educated, they had to create institutions to educate themselves. This is not a matter of debate. It's not a matter of politics. It is quite literally a reality. Deport all illegals now, again, is not a matter of debate, because illegal people do not exist. The NAACP of Nashville said it best. This incident was not an isolated act of political expression. It was an intentional effort to antagonize, disrupt, and instill fear in a space created to be safe, affirming, and supportive of Black students. This is what happens when we do not use intentional, correct language in describing people's political opinions. Racism is not a political opinion. Hate speech is not a political opinion. Xenophobia, anti-Blackness, misogyny, sexism, these are not political opinions. Stop debating political opinions. Racism is not a political opinion. Hate speech is not a political opinion. Xenophobia, anti-Blackness, misogyny, sexism, these are not political opinions. Stop debating people who are coming to you with these opinions. You are legitimizing them, and we need to stop it immediately. Just so we're all on the same page, hate speech, xenophobia, and racism.
Let's move on to these ICE raids in LA in our political corner. And this is where I need y'all's help, okay? Because this morning when I woke up, or this afternoon, this subject matter is still weighing heavily on my mind, spirit, and soul. My little thumbs, I can't help but tweet about it, post about it, speak about it, raise hell about it. And it's troubling me internally, because I am having a hard time trying to reconcile that I know what the right thing to do is in this moment. And I know what I should be doing in this moment. I'm having a hard time reconciling doing what's right and meeting this group of people with an open, loving heart. I know that I'm not judge, juror, executioner, or God, but if I am being honest, there is a level of delight, and I don't know if delight is the right word. There is a level of pleasure. I'm just going to call a thing a thing. There is a level of pleasure that I am experiencing from them fucking around and finding out. There is a level of satisfaction that I am experiencing from the community being punished. And I know that saying this out loud makes me look and feel like a bad person. And I know I'm not a bad person. I know that I'm not. I know that I'm a very compassionate person. But I also just feel like this one needs to burn. It needs to burn. It needs to stick. It needs to hurt. Y'all, they need to feel it. They need to feel it down into their bone marrow in the deepest depths of their souls, so it's never to be repeated, so they are reminded, and so they understand. My concern is that, let's just say, for instance, we go all hands on deck and this ICE situation dries up today or tomorrow. In my heart of hearts, I really do feel like large parts of that community would simply revert back to their anti-Black ways. And I also recognize the fact, if I'm being perfectly honest here, and please, my Latino community, my Latino people that follow me, I'm a work in progress. I'm evolving. I'm processing this the same way that you guys are processing what.
Am I the only one that didn't know that apparently Latinos were like begging Black people for support and help now that Donald Trump is trying to deport? I did not know this. I did not know this. I just learned in the comment section, man, in one of my videos, man. They said, yo, they was just asking us for help. Now they're blaming us for having the young men in their community. Like, what's going on over here? I was asking for help, man. So y'all know how to go down that rabbit hole. And apparently there's a whole bunch of Latinos, man, talking about Black people. We need to unite. We need to come together. Trump is trying to get us out of here. It's us. Who the fuck is us? We legal. We ain't going nowhere. The worst thing we're gonna hear is somebody say go back to Africa, and we haven't heard that since the 90s. Listen, I can make fun of the situation, right? Because I don't got papers, right? The broski's an undocumented immigrant, but I've been dodging ICE since 1998 when we used to call it La Migra. And I'm out here in New York City, so I'm protected. Like the other day, they were closing in on me, right? They was about to arrest me, man. And 5 batshit crazy liberals, man, stopped walking their dogs and drinking their Starbucks, man. And they jumped at the ICE agents and said, the broski, run, broski, run. And man, I took off running, bro. I've been running ever since, bro. Shit, they did not catch me, man. So I could talk confidently out here in New York City because I know these liberals ain't gonna allow these ICE agents to arrest me. They're like, that's our fucking immigrant. He ain't going nowhere. But he shot 2 cops. We don't give a fuck, man. Those were his cops to shoot.
Black folks ain't celebrating your suffering, but we are done saving those who wouldn't even stand beside us. Solidarity isn't seasonal. It's built on truth, not convenience. So to every Latino, Asian, or immigrant community waking up right now, this is your reality check. If you want our support, stand for us when it's not trending. Speak against anti-Blackness in your homes, your media, your politics, because the same system that hunts you down today has been hunting us for centuries, and the only way out is through each other, not through whiteness. This is a Mr. Black, and as always, stay bold, stay black, stay aware. Black News 360, where truth never flinches.